said how she was gazing at the flag when it was hoisted.
I think it was a very wonderful story, and I learned a lot about our independence, and especially I love that part where it said the soup dropped and it almost hit her foot, it almost burnt her foot. And when I heard that it was a lot of crowded from rural to Kingston, it sounded like it was a very big event.
I wish I was there, but this story just makes me feel that I am there.
For the money, brand new thing. Whole a box of baby burgers, roll up a Burger King, baby burgers. Whoa, the taste, the time on BK Baby Burgers is
12 p.m.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at Noon for this Monday, July 27, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this afternoon, on the defense, opposition leader Mark Golding on Sunday attempted to distance the People's National Party's executive from alleged leaked voice notes plotting to sabotage the government's recently launched NARA mechanism. He insists none of the executive members are in the group. Neither is the group an official platform for the party's official policy position. Nika Lewis reports.
Speaking at the party's National Executive Council NEC meeting at the UWI Mona, the president says, having concluded a probe into the allegations, he can now share as much.
The People's National Party chose not to comment publicly on that matter until we had the facts before us. Our review is now complete, and it established three things. Firstly, the conversation in which those leaked recordings took place did not happen in any official party forum. Secondly, no officer of the party participated in that discussion. And thirdly, the PNP has no official NEC or executive WhatsApp group. That doesn't exist.
That said, Golding contends the group is certainly not where party policy is made before attempting further clarity on the origin of the WhatsApp group in question.
This was a WhatsApp group formed by individuals within the party, and the views expressed were their personal views. So those recordings do not represent the official position of the PNP or any policy of the PNP.
However, the party president notes the party takes responsibility for its official views.
The PNP takes responsibility for its official positions. Those are set by our constitutional organs, such as this National Executive Council or the Executive Committee of the party, and those that are communicated by our authorized representatives and shown through our public actions or through our public media outlets, social media outlets, and so on. So with that clarified, I just want to turn to the matter at hand.
Only recently, the governing JLP took the opposition to task over the alleged leaked voice notes, which it said was tantamount to sabotaging victims of Hurricane Melissa, urgently awaiting the relief and projects to be undertaken by NARA. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
Meanwhile, PNP President Mark Golding, having established that the WhatsApp group was formed by individuals of the PNP, came under heavy fire from the JLP. Chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party's Communications Task Force, Senator Abka Fitzhenley, is describing the PNP president's comments on the voice note scandal as shameful and misleading.
Firstly, it's absolutely embarrassing and shameful that the opposition leader addressed this matter of the leaked voice notes for approximately 2 minutes. And at no time did he issue a strong condemnation of the assertion from a member of the PNP executive that the party is prepared to pursue delay tactics to stop major projects under the NARA, which are intended to help Jamaican communities recover stronger and to assist our fellow Jamaicans to build back their lives in a quicker manner after the devastating impact of Hurricane Melissa. Secondly, what I'm advised that Golding cannot deny is that the group is made up of the majority of members of the PNP executive, including co-opted members, and the group is called executive members and has a PNP logo as its display photograph. Therefore, his comments on the matter, at minimum, appear inaccurate and misleading.
To other news now, a Jamaican woman accused of orchestrating a massive COVID-19 relief fraud scheme has been extradited to the United States after being captured in Jamaica while allegedly evading authorities. Investigators say the 41-year-old allegedly played a central role in securing more than $32 million through falsified applications, using fake documents and shell businesses to access taxpayer funds. Her return marks a significant development in the case, as she is the final defendant to face charges in a scheme that has already led to multiple convictions and prison sentences. Hoteliers in Negril, Westmoreland are now convinced that they are well prepared for the hurricane season and that they will not be caught off guard if the country should be hit by another devastating hurricane. Owner and operator of Boardwalk Resort and Boardwalk Plaza in Negril, Richard Wallace, says the tourist hub has started to show signs of early rainfall and they're prepared for the impacts of this to be seen within the coming months.
We are accustomed to it. We know when to expect rain at certain times of the year, and most of us are prepared and so for it. So, while it's something that we don't enjoy when it rains too much, obviously we don't mind when it rains, because when it's too dry, it's also a problem. As you know, a few years ago, we had issues with water supply in the pipes because there was not enough rain. So we don't complain too much about the rain.
A woman is in hospital with serious injuries following a motor vehicle crash along Hopewell Main Street in Hanover on Saturday. Reports said that shortly after 11 a.m., she was traveling in a white Nissan Tida motor car with a male driver from Orchard Main Road towards Hopewell Square. On reaching the vicinity of the Jamaica Labour Party constituency office entrance, the driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle, which crashed into two utility poles. The impact left the vehicle extensively damaged. The woman sustained serious injuries and was taken by ambulance to hospital for treatment. The driver escaped with minor injuries and has been warned for prosecution by the Hopewell police. Now, the incident comes amid ongoing concerns over road safety in the parish. Police say several people have been killed in crashes across the parish since the start of the year and are once again urging motorists to slow down and avoid speeding on the nation's roadways. Still in Hanover, a 19-year-old construction worker who was being sought by the Hopewell police has been arrested and charged over the weekend. The accused has been identified as Andre Hyman of Shooters Hill in Cold Spring. Reports said that about 11 p.m., a 12-year-old girl was left alone at her home in Shooters Hill while her brother went to a nearby shop to purchase items. Upon seeing the child's brother walking to the shop, Hyman, who is known to the family, reportedly went to the house, forced the 12-year-old to a back room and sexually assaulted her. He then fled the community and has been on the run since. A report was made to the police and the Center of Investigation for Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, SOCA, and a manhunt launched to apprehend him. Hyman was taken into custody and was subsequently charged over the weekend. Now, revelations that the government does not own the Support Jamaica website used to collect Hurricane Melissa relief donations have raised questions about data security, digital governance, and emergency procurement. Cybersecurity expert Craig Powell says while the decision may have been necessary during the crisis, Jamaica now needs clearer laws to govern digital disaster response.
We should also be moving to giving us laws to allow for emergency procurement during the hurricane and during disasters. To me, it makes sense that our government should be allowed during a Category 5 hurricane, which is a non-normal disaster, to procure things from private sector with extreme measure. And I think the whole methodology of procurement needs to change to allow some flexibility when there's the urgency.
Now, the brutal rape and killing of 10-year-old Shania Coke has renewed calls for stronger measures to protect children from sex offenders. Attorney at law Janice Gordon says while the law provides for monitoring after an offender is released, policymakers must strengthen the system to reduce the risk of reoffending.
That is where our policymakers would have to come in, make it more robust and mandatory for persons, especially where they're repeated sex offenders, to possibly be integrated into certain programs and to make the rehabilitation more sustainable.
It's now time for a break, but stay with us. Our live interview is up next.
Deposit insurance in a minute. JDIC insures deposits up to $1.2 million per depositor, per ownership category, per institution.
This includes individual and joint accounts. If you have an individual account, it is insured separately from a joint account that you share with someone else.
So my personal account can get up to $1.2 million, and the joint account where me and my mother have can get up to $1.2 million too?
That is it. JDIC ensures that if you have an account in your name alone and another account with somebody else, your money is protected, giving you financial security and peace of mind.
Nice to know.
Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Protecting your deposits,
securing your future.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Come back, we could don't have them be. Learn about agriculture, have fun and laugh with the whole family. Don't have them be. Come back, we could don't have them be. And the biggest agriculture show in the Caribbean, say July 31 to August. We are gonna have a whole heap of livestock on display. In this village, for the picnic them play. Come enjoy the hype road, them the gospel show, and get your heart redeemed. Run, come buy your plants and produce and witness the crowning of your farm queen. Admission adults 1,500, children 600.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back to CVM News at Noon. Now, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, says that more than 15,000 Jamaicans participated in overseas employment programs for last year, with Canada remaining the top destination. But at the same time, figures from the PIOJ's 2025 edition of the Economic and Social Survey show that Chinese nationals received the highest number of work permits issued to foreign workers in Jamaica last year. So while thousands of Jamaicans are leaving to take up jobs overseas, thousands of foreign nationals are actually coming into the island to work here. Is this simply how a modern labor market works, or does it point to deeper issues around wages, skills, productivity, and the availability of workers? Well, joining me in studio for this conversation is economist Keenan Faulkner. At this point, I can call your in-house economist, Keenan Faulkner. Afternoon, Keenan. Welcome to CVM News at Noon.
I am. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, talk to us. We have more Jamaicans leaving to work overseas, but at the same time, we have more foreign nationals who are actually coming here. Is that a contradiction, or does it actually make economic sense from where you stand?
I think it reflects, the modern state of the labor market, like you said in your introduction earlier, because the international mobility of labor is not just unidirectional. So it works in both ways. People come here, people also go abroad. The fact that most, of the numbers indicate that they are Chinese nationals, I think is really reflective of the historical relationship that we have with China and with its nationals. The top 3 areas that the PIOJ report said were construction, wholesale and retail, and accommodation and food services. So, we tend to think, we see it anecdotally, a lot of persons from China come and they set up wholesales and they set up, retail entities and so on. And of course, the construction is more visible. There has always been mention that there are labor shortages in construction, in accommodation and food service, and wholesale and retail. So I think it also does reflect the second part of the introduction that you said. Is there a shortage of skilled labor or just labor in general in some areas? And those 3 areas traditionally have been said to be the areas where the shortages are the greatest, and employers tend to have been complaining about shortages in those areas.
Meaning we don't have enough Jamaicans to fill these gaps, wholesale, retail, construction and food services? We don't have enough Jamaicans to fill those areas?
Well, it's not only the fact that you don't have enough in terms of the number or the quantity, but rather just persons are not willing to work for the wages that are being paid in some of those areas. And so if you cannot get those locally, then most persons will get them from overseas. But in other areas, just generally in terms of labor importation and the issuance of work permits, one of the main complaints has tended to be the prohibitive cost of issuing work permits. So I was quoted a figure some time ago within the last year that it was around $5,000 per person. So if I was an entity bringing in, say, 10 people, that is already 50,000 US plus the other costs in addition to the work permit. So, but generally speaking, I don't think that we should either restrict movement in either direction. So persons can be allowed to participate in overseas employment programs just as much as persons are allowed to come here.
Now, the areas that you listed earlier, that was mentioned in the PIOJ report, the wholesale, the retail, the construction, the food services, are these the areas that are most at risk right now, or are there other sectors too that are having issues?
I think those really are the most at risk, because you don't tend to hear complaints in many other areas. And for those areas that we just mentioned, usually the case is that, look, wages and salaries in those areas are just not enough to attract people, because we do have a very large amount of persons who are outside the labor force. So they are not looking for work. They are not engaged in any form of labor participation. So how do you begin to bring persons in? So regardless of whether or not persons are skilled, if whatever you offer on the table is not enough, then you're always going to have people choosing not to work, because the benefit of working is not really going to sufficient or lucrative enough to get them to work.
But the other day, the government announced a minimum wage increase, though, Keenan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the figure I remember it being is about $17,000 per week now.
Yes.
Are you saying, therefore, that still, where our wages are concerned, the people that are not satisfied, it's not enough.
Yeah, at the very low levels, at the extremely low levels, it would not be enough to attract some people to the labor force. Of course, when persons enter the labor force, they may not always stay in that position. But I think the calculus is sort of changing, and we are operating in a very tight labor market. So it effectively means that of all the persons who have the skills that are demanded by the labor market, 97% almost of them would be employed, because the unemployment rate measures the number of people who are looking for work, but they're really between jobs. So they are, in a sense, frictionally unemployed.
Educate me a bit here, Keenan, and just so our viewers can also have this context. The foreign nationals who are coming in, are they paid the same minimum wage that our Jamaicans earn, or is it that they receive more?
Well, if it is that they are earning minimum wage, then they cannot go below that floor, because that is the floor for everybody.
Okay.
So dependent on what the policies are from the organizations, you really